Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn. Here's an update on some of the stuff DPAC has been doing lately. A Transport Canada meeting, an improvement to the DPAC Safety Course, an update on insurance, and a little bit of Canada First. Let's dive in. Sorry about the raspy voice. I'm on the recovery side of a nasty cold. Hopefully, I'll make it through this without too much coughing, and you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. First up, the DPAC Steering Committee met with the Transport Canada RPAS team on February the 18th for our regular quarterly discussion. We had 4 topics on the agenda. Let's run through them. First was an update on the regulatory changes expected. Well, we're expecting them any time now. I'll put a link in the description below to my video summarizing the proposed changes. The TC folks were not able to provide precise dates for when these new regulations would be announced or exactly what changes had been made to the original proposal, but they were confident the announcement in the Canada Gazette 2 would be in the spring of this year, which of course could mean anywhere between March 20th and June 20th. Whenever that announcement is made, it will include an effective date for when registrations will be possible for medium-sized drones, which are those between 25 and 150 kilograms, and when things like the new exams can be taken. At the same time, they will announce an effective date too, which will be when the new regulations actually kick in for drone operations. They confirmed that the second effective date will still be in the fall, so perhaps some point after September 22nd. So we really didn't learn anything new here, but at least the announcement date wasn't expected to slip again. The second agenda topic was to quickly discuss the exam questions the DPAC team had submitted to TC for consideration. We had been asked to submit questions for the new Level 1 complex pilot exam, including topic areas like identifying faults in automated flight systems, various long-distance radio communications failure modes, and detect and avoid considerations in BVLOS options. We ended up submitting 128 questions. Yes, 128 questions in English and French, with 4 answer options for each, as well as references to confirm the correct answer. Not an easy task. Mark was appreciative of our submission and even suggested that we could send in candidate questions for any other parts of either the basic or advanced pilot exams, and we may well do that. The third agenda item was an update on the good old aviation radio issue, a topic that has been open since June of 2022. The issue here is that you must have a license from ISED, specifically a station license from ISED, in order to talk on an aviation radio, on top of having your ROC A. But the catch is that ISED is not licensing drone pilots. Back in October of 2024, we were told that a limited licensing trial would take place before the end of the year. Well, that didn't happen, but they are still talking about a 6-month trial beginning just around the corner, and it will include our very own Steve Bannister. At the time of this recording, Steve still hadn't heard anything. Tied in with all of this is potentially new training, maybe some ROC A changes, and maybe new material in the radio phraseology handbook. The base station's identifier was confirmed to be tied to the pilot, not a particular drone, thank goodness. One weird little gem was mentioned, by the way. TC indicated that the aviation radio restriction would not apply to BVLOS flights because it was expected that BVLOS flights would have an aviation radio on board the aircraft, which is, of course, totally permitted. I'm not sure how that helps if the pilot loses communications with the drone, but that's what they said. Finally, we had asked TC to share their objectives for 2025. Obviously, their number one priority is to ensure a smooth rollout of the new regulations, including supporting documentation, updates to the website, training their help desk, updates to the drone management portal, and everything in between. Other than that huge topic, they mentioned a focus area on first responders, formulating some rules for BVLOS in controlled airspace eventually, and finally, a redesign of the DonDronesOn newsletter to make it easier to subscribe. So while nothing electrifying came out of the meeting, it was once again a constructive, informative, and congenial meeting. Our next one will be in April. That was a very long first topic for this DPAC update, and I'm struggling here. Rest assured the rest will be short and quick. Topic 2 is the DPAC Safety Course. We now have a French version thanks to the translation work done by Jean Lamoureux and the technical expertise of our webmaster, Angel Gamma. The French version covers exactly the same material as the English version. It's available on the DPAC website, www.dronepilotassociationofcanada.com. All you do is switch over to French and look under resources. Enjoy. Topic 3 is insurance. I would love to be able to say that we have heard about a great insurance deal for recreational and small commercial drone pilots, but not yet. We are still working with a Canada-wide company who's developing a package for us, but we haven't yet seen the particulars. We're hoping that they offer good coverage options, great pricing, and perhaps a DPAC membership discount, but we're still on hold. Stay tuned for updates. My final topic is more of a personal item than a DPAC activity, but I'm including it here, well, because I'm just too lazy to put out a separate video. Here's the story. I was approached recently by a first responder in a maritime fire department who said they were going to be offering a public safety-oriented drone training program for their own team and potentially other first responders. Great so far. I'm totally on board. They wanted to know if they could include a couple of my study guide PDFs as part of the resources for their students. And if so, could they get a bulk discount? Again, all good. I do indeed offer bulk discounts for a few other ground schools, so I provided him the details for his consideration. Now, a few days later, I heard from an American-based company providing, well, guess what? Public safety drone training who's interested in using my material. They said they already had a Canadian trainer, and it was quickly confirmed that these two inquiries were connected. The email that they sent said they were excited to branch out deeply into your country. Now, needless to say, this phrase was a huge turnoff given Trump's explicit threats of annexation of Canada, but I was willing to talk. So a conference call was set up. Now, in the meantime, I circled back to the original fire department guy in the Maritimes to ask for some background. He confirmed that he was their Canadian trainer and that he was employed by both the fire department and now by the Canadian subsidiary of this American training company. So we had a conference call and I listened to their pitch. Their training plan seemed totally reasonable, but my position was that there were other sources of first responder drone training in Canada, and I would happily support them as Canadians, but I could not with good conscience support a US-based company by offering rights to my material or a discount. Not when their leader is threatening our country. I emphasized that it was nothing personal against them or their company, and that things may change in the future. But for now, it was against my morals to support these guys and their desire to branch out deeply into Canada. It's a tiny item in the billions in trade between the countries, but perhaps if we all take a stand, something may happen. And if you're a Canadian-based first responder drone training organization, you may want to explore the market in the Atlantic provinces. Looks like there's an opportunity there. And yes, I would support you. There you have it, a fairly long update on DPAC activities going on over the past few months. I hope you found this interesting. See you again soon, and hopefully I'll recover.